So after 3 weeks of research, this is my complete review on the ASMED clinic with Dr. Koray Erdogan. The ASMED clinic and Dr. Erdogan are one of the legends of hair transplantation, especially in Turkey. The question is, what are they like today? We're going to cover their team, their website, their results, and their reviews. I'm also going to share the one discovery that I made that came as a big surprise for me. It's a discovery that you need to know about if you are even thinking of having a hair transplantation procedure with this clinic. Let's go. So let's kick things off with a look at the website. In my opinion, a professional hair clinic website should have all the following information. It should tell you who the lead surgeon is. It should have some before and after pictures. It should tell you about the services and techniques they offer in terms of hair transplantation, beard, eyebrows, the techniques they use, whether it's FUT or FUE. It should give you an estimated price. This is not always possible, but they should at least tell you how they work out their prices, the price for the consultation, any packages, and finally it should also tell you how to contact them. That should be very clear and very easy. So let's have a quick look at the ASMED website. I actually think this is a very professional website. It's one of the best I've seen in terms of the layout, the ease of navigation, everything. You have all the basic information. You have a picture of the whole team there. And then the menu on the left is very comprehensive. The only thing I don't really like is this white on black writing. It can become a little bit of an eyesore after a while. The lead surgeon is very obvious right at the top there, Dr. Koray Erdogan. We'll talk about him in a minute. They tell you about what they do in terms of what they offer, the types of hair transplants, the consultation, and there's a detailed breakdown of the whole process, starting from the consultation to the test and analysis to the pre-surgical meeting. So basically here you can have an entire rundown of how your procedure is going to look, which is spot on. And over here they have a section for the cost, and they give you a detailed breakdown of what goes into their cost from the facility, from the consultation, from the actual procedure itself. So they give you a detailed breakdown of what goes into the cost, and at the bottom here it's a very straightforward statement here that says hair transplant costs, they charge a flat fee of 2.5 euros per graft. Clear, concise, to the point, well done. Continuing with the menu, there's a bit here about the history of the clinic. If you're into that, there's a kind of timeline of what they've done and how they started, and it's really detailed, and it's really actually quite a lot of fun to read. And let's just carry on down the menu. For people who are not really experts at hair transplant, they even give you some educational stuff like the vocabulary and the techniques. They even give you advice. It's so detailed. They actually give you advice on the sleep position. They also give you advice on the post-operative hair washing, how you should wash your hair after your procedure. And over here, they actually have their own app called the Graph Calculator. Apparently, it's an app that you can get. It's a free app that you can get for your iPad. That tells you, I'm assuming it tells you about how many grafts you're likely to need. So that's really neat. You can tell this clinic is really cutting edge. And there's a section here, there's a clear section here of results. We'll have a look at those results, and it's divided into the Norwood scales from the Norwood 2s all the way to the 6s. And at the bottom here is contact. Very easy, very clear. Another thing I really like about the website is the quality of their frequently asked questions page. Now, with other websites in Turkey, I've seen pages here where there's lots of spelling errors and grammatical mistakes. Here, there's none of that. I mean, let's just take one of the very common questions that people ask about how will the transplanted area look after the surgery? And the answer is that the transplanted area will have scabbing and may look pink for 7 to 10 days after the surgical procedure. There's usually a bit of redness in the transplanted regions that dissipates in the range of 2 to 4 weeks. Clear, concise, high quality answer. It really is a high quality website. Having again at our website criteria, as you can see, they tick every single box. Now let's meet the lead surgeon of ASMED clinic. It's Dr. Koray Erdogan, one of the legends of hair transplantation, a pioneer really. He's got a massive resume, as you can see, flamboyant character, really colorful. He's got his own YouTube channel as well, and he holds these workshops. He's very involved in the kind of hair transplantation training and community. So let's find out a little bit more about him. He started the ASMED clinic all the way back in 2001. So that's coming up very shortly, going to be 20 years. He's been doing a combination of FUE and FUT since 2004. It's quite interesting. He was doing, he actually calls it a combination of FUT and FUE, really interesting. And in 2006, he developed his own tool to make the process of extracting hair a lot smoother and a lot more reliable. The tool is called DES. You can read more about it on his website. And he is the president of the World FUE Institute. So this is kind of an organization where all the FUE experts kind of come together and share knowledge and expertise. And he says he is the AHA, American Hair Loss Association recommended physician. I did check this and it's absolutely spot on. This is the American Hair Loss Association recommended surgeons. And if you go right to the bottom, let's scroll down right to the bottom. There you go. There you go. Dr. Koray Erdogan, MD, ASMED hair restoration. So he is recommended by the American Hair Loss Association. So this is, I think this is a non-profit organization that educates people on how to tackle and how to live with their hair loss, a little bit like this channel. It also says he's a member of the International Society for Hair Restoration Surgeons. So this is very well-known organization. But I think his membership must have run out, because when I typed him into the search box, it doesn't come up. So maybe he forgot to renew his membership. I'm sure he was a member before. There's no suggestion that he's telling fibs or anything. He was definitely a member, but maybe he just forgot to renew his membership. I also mentioned he's a president of the World FUE Institution. So obviously I'll double check that. I'll double check everything. So this is the World FUE Institution website. So if you go to the bottom and where it says governing members or governing body, governing board right here. There you go. There he is. Dr. Koray Erdogan, president. So very well connected guy. So let's have a quick word on cost. As I showed you on the website, the cost is 2.5 euros per graft, flat fee. Reasonable. This cost is reasonable in terms of the whole world, in terms of comparing it to the UK, the US, Canada. In those places, some of those places, they charge up to $5-6 per grafts. But in terms of Turkey, it is slightly on the higher end. So if you are looking for, rock bottom prices, cheapest chips, hair transplant, you shouldn't really be doing. If that's what you're looking for, then you are heading for a disaster. But if that's what you're looking for, then this guy's not for you. Now let's have a look at some of the results. Very helpful. They divided the results into Norwood scales from the Norwood 2s all the way to the 6s. So I'm just going to take some of the 2s and let's have a look at this guy. And what you notice when you come to the page is the amount of high quality information. They tell you everything about who did the transplant, the patient's age, the Norwood scale, the total transplanted area, everything, all the technical details you want. You can really gorge here with the technical details. So let's have a look at this guy here. I think he's 35, Norwood 2, so reasonably bold. So here are the pictures. So this is some before pictures with the hair dry. So he's got some recession, nothing too bad. And this is the hair wet. Really nice to see that they show you the hair wet and dry, just to give you a better idea. And this is immediately after the procedure. And this picture is dry hair 11 months after the procedure. As you can see, the hairline is nice and thick. It's very well designed. They kept kind of the little corners that he had before, which makes it look very natural. And this is the hair that is wet. As you can see, even with the hair wet, he hasn't lost any of the thickness and the hairline is still staying intact. And this is the hair dry from the top. Again, reasonable thickness. This is how it was before, and they're just showing you all the results again from the top. I think the focus here was on the front of the hairline for this particular client, and you can see the result is really spectacular. The thickness is excellent, the hairline is fantastic, and even when it's wet, it just still looks natural and excellent. Some more before pictures from the top. As you can see, when his hair was wet, you can really see the extent of his hair loss. And again, these are all the same pictures from a different angle. Again, 11 months post hair transplant. The hairline, you can see, is really, really good. The hairline is very, very strong, and even when it's wet, you still maintain the form and the density. So yeah, this is an excellent hair transplant. This is the donor area 11 months afterwards with the hair dry. You can't really see anything. You can't even tell he's had a hair transplant. So this is a sensational result. Well, that was a Norwood 2. Let's have a look at a Norwood 4. So we're kind of going up the scale of hair loss. So I did find one person with curly afro type hair. So we'll just have a look at him. Yeah, this is the guy. This is how many grafts has he had? So he's had 3,220 grafts. So decent amount of grafts. And again, they give you all the details. So this is what he was like before. Some frontal recession was his main problem, but he was also losing hair on top. So you can see there's a bald patch there. We'll see it more clearly in a minute. He's got really good donor area here. His hair is thick elsewhere, and you can see the bald patch very clear there. So he needs some work here and some work at the front. Let's have a look at some more before pictures, which gives you an idea about the extent of his hair loss. And this is him just before the procedure, hair shaved down, and obviously these are the marks where the transplants are going to go in. Again, focus is on the front and maybe some on the crown as well. Yeah, there's some on the crown there as well. So this is immediately after the procedure, and this is 20 months, so nearly 2 years after the procedure. So by now he should have seen some good growth, and he has. I mean, he's seen some excellent growth, and this is under very harsh light. So I think these pictures are pictures the client took with a flash. So even with a flash, you can't really tell that he is losing hair or he had a hair transplant. You can see some patchiness, but take into account this is very harsh light. So this is the results from the side, looking good. Yeah, this is a really excellent hair transplant. I mean, with this flashlight, I mean, it looks like a floodlight from certain angles. It's so harsh. You can still see the quality of the hair transplant. Maybe in the future he might choose to go back and have these areas filled in, but when you look at him from the front, this is what people are going to see, and this looks outstanding. Now let's move on and have a look at Norwood 6. So this is somebody who is pretty bold. So I'm going to pick this guy. He's had over 5,500 grafts, 37 years old, Norwood 5. So severely bald, and as you can see, he's got a very good donor area. That's one thing working for him, but in terms of the hair loss, is pretty extensive. And this is him immediately after the procedure, and look at that. This is 6 months. This is unbelievable. 6 months. He's got some talent, this guy. I'm really stunned. I've never seen 6-month growth like this. And this is before the operation. You can see the extent of the hair loss. Immediately after the procedure, and bam, look at that, only 6 months. And I mean, it's so good, it looks like a wig, but it's not. This is all natural. Really terrific results. And this is the hair before from the side. This is post operation, and this is 6 months afterwards with that thickness. It's really is high quality. I just want to see what the crown is like, and this is so you can see before he's got some excellent donor hair. That's one thing working for him. Very lucky with that. So let's have a look from the top. The top is also looking good. There's a little bit of thinning. He might choose to have a second procedure in a few years' time just to fill that in if things get worse. But so far, so good. From the top, looks incredible. So I think this is the best one we've seen so far. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below which hair transplant, which is the best hair transplant we've seen so far. And finally, the donor area at the back looks fantastic. So this is my impression on the results. Some spectacular results, wonderful details on the website in terms of technical detail. Everything was FUE. I didn't see any FUT. Maybe they stopped doing FUT, who knows. Only one afro or curly hair type. I don't know if they do more of them. And no women. I didn't see any women. Maybe they don't do women. So now let's have a look at the reviews. And let's start with Google reviews because they're the ones I trust the most. Sorry about that typo there. I should say Google, not Googie. So the score with Google is 4.6 stars out of 5. Average over 169 reviews. That is outstanding. and there was 18 one-star reviews. So 1 star is basically the worst reviews, and there was 18 out of the 169 of those 1-star reviews, and that gives a 1-star review percentage of 10.6%. And I always say, even when it comes to Amazon and stuff like that, every company should be aiming for 1-star reviews below 10%. So they're kind of smack bang on the borderline, and overall they are extremely well rated on Google. So now let's have a look at some of the good reviews, some of the bad reviews. So these are the good reviews. These are the 5-star reviews. You notice I always look at the dates. So this is from 3 weeks ago. This is from 3 weeks ago. This is from 8 months ago. Yeah, that's a little bit old. This is from a month ago. So it seems that the good reviews that we're seeing are fairly recent. So these are really highly relevant. So let's see what this person mentions. Recently attended the clinic for my first ever transplant. All the staff were incredibly accommodating and friendly, especially my patient coordinator Susanna. So he's talking about the service, and this is something that you find throughout the good reviews. They talk about the service. This is another one, great service. I had my transplant done on the 4th and 5th of August, and it's all about the service. And I think this is one of the weakness of not just this clinic but all hair transplant clinics. All the feedback is about the service, because people have done the feedback straight after they've had a procedure, and that's all they have to go on. They haven't really seen results as yet, so all they can talk about is the service. Now let's have a look at some of the bad reviews, the lowest rating ones, and with these you can see they are very old, and obviously this is what you want to see. You don't want to see lots of bad reviews that have been done in the last few days. So this is 9 months ago, this is 9 months ago, this is 9 months ago as well, this is 11 months ago, this is 3 years ago. So this is very reassuring for this clinic that the bad reviews seem to be a long time ago. But let's see what they're complaining about. This person says, guys, I don't recommend you this place, they are terrible, unprofessional. So this person is having a rant. The other person, not the worst clinic in Turkey. I'm not sure why he gave it 1 star then. Has he seen a worse clinic? I mean, I'd love to think how many stars he's given them. But it has to be the biggest con. So the result was very poor, so he's very unhappy with the results and the follow-up. And another person here saying they should learn how to communicate with clients. So this is again more of a customer service complaint. So I had a look through all the 1-star reviews, and mostly it's about a couple of issues that cropped up. Is the communication after the procedure wasn't particularly what people were expecting, and the other thing was people said the clinic was taking a long time to respond. But overall, these are very old reviews and there's very few of them. So I would say overall, ASMED is rated very highly on Google. Another interesting thing I noticed is that the ASMED clinic has a very good active YouTube channel. So if you type ASMED clinic into the YouTube search box and you come here, they have over 225 videos and 11,400 subscribers. And if you go on their website, it's very active. They're still posting. They posted a video 2 weeks ago. And if you want to learn more about the clinic and about the lead surgeon, Dr. Erdogan, then this is a good place to start. Obviously, they're never going to post kind of negative or bad results, but it's a good place to go and find out what they're all about. In terms of kind of YouTube hair transplant reviews, there's one guy who's had work with them, and this is him doing an update, I think 4 years ago, on his hair transplant. Looks like he recently had the hair transplant done. So I'm going to show you now what he looks like now. So here he's detailing where he had the work done, and now I'm going to fast forward 4 years, and then you can see, sorry, not 4 years, 14 months. So a year and 2 months update on his work. So here he is showing us what his current update is. This is 14 months. As you can see, I mean, he looked really good from the front, really thick, even design in terms of the hairline. And he's showing us kind of crown pictures and how the front looks. So it looks like he's had a really successful hair transplant, and he was quite complimentary about the ASMED clinic. In the interest of balance, this is a YouTube video of somebody who's wasn't really happy with the procedure, because he said that it was over harvested. His donor area was over harvested, and he's kind of detailing his procedure here. Both videos are up on YouTube, and this guy wasn't happy with how the donor area was harvested, and so you get an idea about a good review and a bad review, and then you can make your mind up accordingly. So now to the surprising discovery. By looking through the forums, I discovered that over the last year or two, Dr. Erdogan has really expanded his clinic. He's really scaled up his services. He himself says that he's got over 20 nurses and 4 doctors at the moment, so the clinic is massive. Of course, this means that he can't do all the procedures himself, and where you get different people doing the hair transplantation, you get variability, and with variability comes inconsistent results. This is perfectly normal because when you have different people doing work, some of them are going to do it to a high standard, some of them are going to do it to an average standard, and some of them are going to be rubbish. The good news is the overwhelming majority of the work that comes out of this clinic is top notch, and Dr. Erdogan himself is still hands-on. He is still doing some of the procedures. So if you're thinking about going to this clinic to have your hair transplant, I think it's going to be a wonderful experience, provided you do your research and you are clear who's going to be doing your procedure. Is it going to be Dr. Erdogan himself? Is it going to be someone else? If it's going to be someone else, who is that person, so that you can do research on the quality of their work. Now, I want you to tell me, which clinic are you thinking of going with? Let me know in the comments below and I'll tell you what I think. I'm out of here. It's time for me to have a coffee and a biscuit. Take care. See you soon.